Now, shots fired outside a local high school right now at 5.
Now, breaking news from Channel 8 News Now.
8 News Now has learned that Metro officers opened fire near Clark High School.
Topper 8's been over the scene since it happened. That was about 3:30 this afternoon, and Cassandra Garcia is live there and joins us with the latest. Cassandra.
Well, we are slowly learning more about what happened here. We are now being told 2 suspects were shot and transported to a nearby hospital, but no officers were injured in the situation. And take a look behind me here. You can see this entire block of Penwood is shut down. Metro is still investigating. And to the right, you can see Clark High School. I talked to the family members of a student who was here at the time of the shooting. Here's what her sister had to say.
Yeah, because they said that they were shooting around here, and we didn't know where she was at until she called us and told us that they're not gonna let her out.
Now, about 15 minutes after I talked to her sister, they did release those students and they were all reunited with their families. Some tense situations, but no one was injured inside the school. And again, Metro is investigating further as to what happened here. We're waiting to be briefed, and we will bring you more information as soon as that becomes available. Reporting live, Cassandra Garcia, 8 News Now.
Thanks, Cassandra.
Police in Southern California have focused their attention on the resort town of Big Bear in their search for accused cop killer Christopher Dorner.
Yesterday, the truck he was seen driving was found burning there at Big Bear. The San Bernardino County Sheriff's Office says officials haven't seen a trace of him since losing his tracks there in the woods.
We searched all night. We did not discover any additional evidence, and we certainly did not locate him. We're continuing our search in the local area as well as up on the mountain near where the truck was found. We still have over 100 law enforcement officers from throughout Southern California assisting us.
Now, Dorner, a former Los Angeles cop, has threatened to hurt L.A. police officers and their families, police say, in retribution for being fired back in 2008. Police believe he has already killed 3 people, including a police officer. He allegedly laid out his plan in an online manifesto saying, "I never had the opportunity to have a family of my own, and I'm terminating yours."
This is a somewhat unprecedented, or at least a very rare occurrence for us, where you have a trained and heavily armed person who is hunting for police officers.
Police say snow near Big Bear Lake could affect their search. Not only were schools canceled for the day there, but they have urged people in the area to stay indoors.
Even with that 20-page manifesto, there are still so many unanswered questions on how Dorner was able to pull off this entire thing, and of course, where he might be now.
Edward Lawrence has been following this story from the beginning and joins us now from Los Angeles. Edward, what can you tell us about any new information released this afternoon?
Yeah, at this point, we have learned within the last 30 minutes or so that the search is going to not continue when the sun falls. The searchers who are up on the mountain now, when the sun goes down, will come off the mountain. It is snowing very heavily up in Big Bear, and they've made the determination that they're just not going to search overnight for a number of reasons. One, that the searchers who are up there looking for Christopher Dorner needs rest. The other is that the snowfall is getting very heavy up in that area. We've also learned that the sheriff says there's the tracks that were found around his car or his truck that was found up there at Big Bear Lake. Those tracks, one of them included skis, and those ski tracks went about 6 miles into the woods. The sheriff said that they followed those tracks to the end and obviously did not find him. So they are still focusing on the search on that area, but they have not ruled out the fact that he may have gotten out of the Big Bear area.
Edward, there must be so much fear and anger built up. Can this possibly end well?
Yeah, well, if you read his manifesto, which I know you read parts of it, his manifesto clearly said that he's prepared to die. So many people feel, many of the officers we've talked to feel that he is not going to want to be taken alive.
All right, thanks, Edward.
It's tragic. Thank you, Edward Lawrence. Metro Police are making changes with the ongoing manhunt for Dorner in Las Vegas. Officers are now teamed up in 2-person units due to the threats against law enforcement. Metro says they're working closely with federal agencies in tracking Dorner down.
We want to ensure the safety of our community if he were to return here, and we want to ensure the safety of our police officers. With that said, all our uniformed police officers have teamed up in 2-person units, and we will do that indefinitely.
Police say they're following up with Valley residents specifically named in the Dorner manifesto.
The search for Christopher Dorner has spanned across California and other parts of the Southwest, including Nevada. Law enforcement has had leads for Dorner in Riverside, California, where Dorner allegedly shot 3 victims, Big Bear Lake, where they found his burned-out pickup truck and footprints leading from the car in the snow, also some ski tracks, and of course right here in Las Vegas, where Dorner owned a home. Lauren Rosella live with the latest details from the FBI here. Lauren.
Yeah, I spoke with the FBI just a couple of hours ago. They now confirmed that they found no one inside Dorner's home, nor did they find any weapons. Now, law enforcement as a whole searched Dorner's home extensively for any sign of his whereabouts. Friday morning, broken glass now litters the home of ex-LAPD officer Christopher Dorner. The doors and windows are boarded up, and the second-story window is cracked, the result of officers raiding the house. Thursday night, FBI agents had the garage open and the house full of lights, pulling out boxes and searching for weapons.
I thought we were being invaded. Literally, I mean, I walked out front and there were 2 guys standing here with machine guns.
During the investigation, law enforcement temporarily closed down Dorner's street, not allowing anyone to come in and telling those like Stephen Williams, who were already at home, to stay there.
I asked him, I said, hey, what's going on? He told me they're serving a search warrant.
Thursday, the home was the site of a major undercover operation by Metro Police. We went by the home early Thursday morning, but were warned to stay away from the property. At one point, law enforcement thought it likely Dorner could come here to Las Vegas. Dorner was married here, served as a commanding officer at Phelan Naval Air Station, and even filed a temporary protection order in the Clark County Family Court System. 8 News now tracked down those documents and found he filed a protection order against another LAPD officer mentioned in his lengthy manifesto.
For somebody like that to lose it, you know, something must have really gone wrong.
Law enforcement have since cleared out of Dorner's neighborhood, but some of Dorner's neighbors say they will continue to be on high alert after a string of recent robberies. Now, after they temporarily closed that road yesterday, law enforcement were actually out here helping kids get home from school because their parents weren't allowed to walk to the corner or leave their homes to try and go and retrieve them. But everything did reopen again sometime overnight. For now, reporting live near the home of Christopher Dorner, Lauren Rosella, 8 News Now.
Thank you, Lauren. Inside the mind of a suspected killer.
So anybody that's ever killed somebody or kissed death has a different brain.
Analyzing the writings of Christopher Dorner and why some doctors say he's probably not suffering from PTSD.
This portion of 8 News Now is brought to you by your Southern Nevada Toyota dealers. Now, Nevada's first choice for news. This is 8 News Now at 5.
Another resounding question in the Christopher Dorner manhunt is about his mental state. What caused this former LAPD cop with extensive weapons and military training to go on a killing spree? Cherie Harvin sat down with a researcher with a mental health expertise who offers his professional opinion.
Well, of course, you know, he says that this is all about clearing his name after the LAPD wrongfully fired him. That's according to him. But the experts we talked to say Dorner is a man with a vengeance who's not insane, but is suffering.
I do not think it fits the profile for post-traumatic stress disorder.
What's inside the mind of Christopher Dorner?
There are some aspects of it that give the appearance of manic depression.
Gerald Gillick is a researcher with a mental health background who says Dorner is the ultimate avenger.
Revenge is not an excuse for murder, and it's not an acceptable way of handling the problem. He has come to a decision to create a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
In his manifesto, Dorner writes, "If possible, I want my brain preserved for science to study the effects of severe depression. Since I was relieved from duty in 2008 and when I was terminated in 2009, I have been afflicted with severe depression." But can that cause a skilled marksman to kill with no remorse, unleashing the biggest U.S. manhunt in decades? UNLV therapist and researcher Larry Ashley says it's possible because someone in his state of mind has nothing to lose.
Their whole sense of being is wrapped up into that in their career, and when they don't have that, they're lost souls. You know, they have nothing.
Like millions of men and women who have served in the military or law enforcement, Ashley says Dorner is wired differently.
So anybody that's ever killed somebody or kissed death has a different brain.
Now the local, state, and federal agents are combing California using Dorner's words in hopes of tapping into his mind to figure out his next step.
Dorner also wrote in his letter to America, ask yourselves what would cause somebody to take these drastic measures like I did. That is what is important. And Gillick says more resources really need to be placed in mental health for anyone who spent time in the military or law enforcement.
Interesting insight.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shuri.
Well, understanding your rights.
I intend to carry a firearm on me, a compact weapon on me at all times.
In the I-Team's Guns of Nevada series, the rush to teach all the new gun owners how to stay safe and the laws you may not know about here in the Silver State.